Hey there and welcome to this sales course. My name is Stephanie and I got asked to just introduce myself a little bit more before we get started on the course and recent feedback. So this is what I'm going to do just now. Well, I'm a real world salesperson. This means I am in sales myself since 12 years. I have worked in various industries in different roles. I have done business development, business to customer, so B2C, B2B, and even as an entrepreneur and sales trainer, I'm still in sales, so I train people how to sell, and I still work part-time sometimes in sales to just keep up my skill set, to know what's up in the market, and to be able to give you guys real world, real life help, support, and training advice that actually does work. As you maybe can imagine, 12 years is quite a long while, and it's quite a lot of time to harness this one skill. Sales is definitely an art skill. It is a skill that you learn. Salespeople are not born. There are people with a certain percentage of persuasion abilities and people who are natural influencers, yes, but the proper sales skills, that is something that can be learned and that can be taught. As mentioned, I have 12 years sales experience, therefore it might appear that the steps I show you are quite simplistic, and in fact they are. I try not to overcomplicate things because the true basis and the underlying theories are really simple. The hard bits though are putting them into use, into practical use. So maybe I will tell you a bit about the roles I worked in so you get a better understanding of what my background is and how I can help you potentially become the better salesperson. So I started my career back in 2006 and I joined Deutsche Bank, and they have in Germany, I joined obviously Deutsche Bank back in Germany, and they have it's kind of a dual course, so you basically study full-time while you're being a full-time employee. You go to university, which is in line with your training within the bank, so you have a theory part and a practical part. This is what I've done during this first 3 years while I was still studying and working full-time. I basically got an overview of all sales roles there are. So I went to every sales department, whether like private banking, personal banking, business banking, finance, etc., as well as all the backup roles. So basically all the sales support roles that help the sales people who are customer facing to deliver the best results and come on into the client meetings as experts. So I have done this as well. I worked in headquarters, like product management, where we created sales courses, train the bankers to not just educate the clients but also to deliver the best customer service. So this is what I've done for the first 3 years. I then went into a customer facing role as a banker or as a consultant. I basically have built my own client portfolio from scratch. So I have done B2C, business to customer, and I started with more or less 0 customers in my portfolio, and I have built this from scratch. Within a very short amount of time it became profitable, and it had just basically a load of clients who were happy, who would recommend me, who would repurchase, etc. After this I went on to become an executive assistant, so I also saw what is the management team basically expects from a salesperson. How is everything like KPI based, how's everything done, what are sales targets, how do you plan, how do you prospect, etc. So this is what I've done afterwards. After 6 years I left Deutsche Bank and went on to a management consulting company where we consulted big banks as well as all the institutions supporting the banks. It were regional banks in Germany, and my role was to work directly with the C-level members to deliver presentations and do a very intense, I think very high level part of B2B sales, so business to business sales. This is where I got started in business to business sales. As you might can imagine, that banking and financial services is a very tough industry. It's an industry where there's loads of competencies, lots of competence in one room, high expectations, high proficiency. So it was quite a very good learning environment for me to stay in and get like, I think, the most amazing trainings in the world and become the best like grounded salesperson I am now. I then moved into recruiting, which I would consider as the master discipline of sales, because you not only have the client side where you would be do business to business sales, business development, build a portfolio from scratch and develop business relationships to basically get the jobs you then fill as a recruiter. But you have also the other side as a recruiter, where you do the sales with your candidates. So your candidate portfolio has to be obviously developed. You have to build rapport quite quickly. You have to find something they are happy to go for an interview for. You have to train them for the interview. You have to prep them. You have to teach them how to best sell themselves in the interview to the customer. It's quite a complex process, and you have both sides. So you have the customer facing side, your clients, and you have the candidate facing side, and obviously you still have to represent the interests of your very own company you work for. So I have done this for the financial services industry. I worked for one of the top leading companies in the US and globally, and the good thing about that is especially the very great training you got there, because obviously it was a totally different field to what I've known. I'm a banker, so my background is banking, so recruiting is quite different. And I think I was just very, very well trained, so I could harness basically the skills quite quickly, and I could then build to, again, quite successful portfolios, one with my clients and one with my candidates. So I have done this for temp and for perm, so basically perm placements as well as temp placements. When I moved over to the UK, I worked for an executive search boutique based in London, focusing on cross-border recruitment on an executive level. So what we've done is we've basically recruited people on a very, very high level. So we're starting at senior manager up to partner, up to CEO, CIO, etc. I have done this for the IT industry, so basically focusing on roles around cybersecurity, incident response, etc. I did not stay too long with this company, as I then started my very own business and became a sales trainer. So I'm a certified trainer as well, focusing on sales. It really helps to develop the skill once, and it doesn't really matter in which kind of environment you will be then set into, because you simply strive if you keep on doing what you've learned. Again, I was trained during this time, and I worked in so many different roles that I can very confidently say that I understand sales, and I'm happy to teach it as well. When I moved to the UK back in 2015, I actually left the corporate world for a whole year and went back to university to do my master's degree. My master's degree is in global leadership, so I have an MSc in global leadership, which was focusing a lot on occupational psychology. So loads of my courses are focusing on motivation, well, not necessarily motivation, but also personality. A lot of personality, individuality, accompanied with understanding someone else's personality. So I think it would sum it up as emotional intelligence based in personality and an understanding of personality. So how to communicate efficiently with others based on their personality and how they want to be treated. During these studies, it was a full-time master's degree. I also worked part-time up to 5 days a week for Tiffany and Co. here in London, and well, you probably know them, these are the ones with the blue box. So it's the leading jewelry company worldwide, and it was obviously a totally different environment. I've never ever sold jewelry in my life. Did it in a different language, and it was, especially during Christmas, we got extremely busy. I worked for Tiffany in 2 different locations. One was a department store in one of the leading retailers here in the London, and I guess you can just imagine how crazy busy that got. And I worked for Tiffany in a standalone shop. So with Tiffany, obviously a beautiful product, it's very emotional sales, and while selling you deliver the highest customer experiences. This is exactly what is expected in a luxury retail environment. So obviously I think it does not harm to deliver great, outstanding customer service and just make yourself remarkable as a salesperson, not just your product. But so I got that one locked in as well, and even when I started the company, as mentioned, I still sell. I worked part-time for another jeweler when I started the business, and obviously within your own company, being an entrepreneur, you want to make your company as profitable as possible within the shortest amount of time, because it's your brand, it's your name. There's lots of networking being involved, and building fruitful relationships, especially if you are as well an entrepreneur. You will know that you have not a brand behind you that is very well known. Therefore, you probably face more resistance. Your customers might have a limited tolerance for potential failure just because you're not a big brand, so it's harder to build some trust. But this is what I do day in, day out. So I'm gonna share loads of practical, real sales experience, sales advice, and I hope to set you up for massive success with this course. In fact, I truly believe that every person is in sales nowadays. We can't do it anymore without it. In the world we live in, it's quite transparent. Everyone is building their personal brand. Everyone is managing expectations, managing impressions, and their own very own reputation. So I truly believe sales is a skill you need to learn. There is basically no way around it. You have to learn sales. This is the most essential skill. And I really do hope that I can provide you with the best experience, and that I also can help you to avoid potential mistakes which might just happen because it's a new field you might enter. I also do share with you real life advice, so I'm not promising you that things will be perfect within minutes, because it's not. It's a skill you need to build and to work on yourself and on your skills. Sales is not something that is super simple. Well, it is quite simple, but it's not super easy. So it will take some practice. You will get better over time. Things will make sense. Things will click. Still, you are interacting with people, so you will have to build rapport again and again and again, over and over and over. And there will be loads of persistence from your side needed to just make you the most successful salesperson in the world. Usually it will take a while until people come to you and purchase your product, because your reputation is just so great. So at the beginning, this probably won't happen, but if you can manage to get there, then it will be super easy for you to make money and sales, and your clients can even stay with you when they are loyal to you. So I hope I have shared some experience from my side. You got quite a good overview of who I am and how I can help you, and I wish you loads of success. This course is really real world advice. It's real world practice, and it's tips and tricks that do work. So you will need to put in the work. You will probably need to customize some of the bits and pieces. This is why there are exercises. And if you put in the work and if you keep working on yourself and harness this skill, I'm pretty sure you will be all set up for success and have a great career inside ahead of you. So without any further ado, let's dive into the course.